Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'd like to show you how I made this card. I started messing around with the Eastern Palace suite and I hadn't gotten my dies yet when this idea came to me. So I used actually kind of an old friend from the Christmas season, the Star of Light stamp set, and I used this star flourish and I used this star here when I made this panel piece here, and I thought that the star really did fit with the suite, so that's what I used for this card. And then from the Eastern Palace stamp set, it is Thanks for Always Being There for Me, and I thought that was a really nice sentiment. And so what you'll need to make this card is I used the Tranquil Tide new in color base here, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I love this color. I think that is going to go so well with greens and blues, and I think we'll be able to do quite a bit with this during the season. I think it's going to be great fun. Tranquil Tide base. Then I used a piece of gold foil at 4 by 5 1/4, and then down 1/4 of an inch from that, 5 inches by 3 3/4, a piece of dapper denim. Then down 1/4 from that, let's see, that would be 3.5 by 4.75 of some of this absolutely gorgeous designer series paper that comes with this suite. You can see that I've been playing around here and using some of it, but I gotta tell you that this stuff is just beautiful. Many of the new colors are in this set, including this wonderful lime color, the twist, what is it called, lemon lime twist. There's a piece of it here on the back. And then this beautiful, and I can't think of the exact right name here, but this fig purpley color, which again is just gorgeous. And so I decided to kind of mess around with this, and I'm particularly taken with this paper here. And I've been told that it was inspired for the designer by the tail of a peacock. And I think that it's very Art Deco looking, which I love, and the paper is just beautiful. Then there is this beautiful piece of foil paper that there's a piece of in this paper set, and I just cut a little strip 1/2 inch by 5 1/4, and that's to go on the inside on a piece of Very Vanilla cut at 4 by 5 1/4. So let's just get started here. What I'm going to do is just burnish and fold my paper base here to get started. There we go. And what I did here, I also used in this the layering squares framelits and the layering ovals framelits. And what I did was I used the second one down so not the largest. So if you number them 1, 2, 3, 4, this would be number 3 to make that piece there, and then number, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, the second one down in each grouping to cut out the squares. And what I did was I on the piece of gold foil here, what I did was I set up the largest square here at the top, and then I used this layering oval and this scalloped oval, and I put the largest square and the largest oval on the inside of this piece to cut out my gold pieces that I needed for here. And then I've watched people do this and I decided to try it. And then I used the smaller square on the blue here and the plain oval here and cut those out of those papers. So that's what I did, and to save a little bit of time, I have already cut my pieces. And so I still got this horrible cold. I apologize for the sniffles. I hopefully will be done with this in no time. So we have our base here, and then we have the two pieces here that I cut those items out. So what we're going to do is just adhere, because there's so many layers, none of this has to be raised until you get to the final two pieces, because there's quite a bit going on in the card here. So I layered my gold piece centered on the front of my card here. And then just so that it wouldn't be a hole over a hole, I turned the blue piece over, and also, I don't like doing that without my silicone net because I'm not, get glue all over everything if I'm not very careful. So this piece then got layered onto the gold piece like this, and then this piece of the designer series paper goes on top and magically covers all of those things we cut out. And there we have a very pretty front. While I'm at it, I think I will go ahead and add my vanilla piece to the inside. And I cut this piece a little bit small because I like the idea of having kind of a big border. So just on the inside of the card so that it ends up with a nice big border. And then this thin strip that I cut would go here on this vanilla piece. And I can see that it needs just a tiny bit of a haircut here. So I'll do that. And let's see. I think that'll fit on there just perfectly now. So we can go ahead and put this piece in place, and the inside of the card will be finished as well. Oh dear, not very straight. Let me try that again. Much better. Okay, so there we have that and that. So the pieces that we have left to do is we have to do some work on this piece and on my oval piece, gold scalloped piece. So the work we'll be doing for the moment is on these two pieces here. And I want a piece of scratch paper here because we're going to emboss some images on here. On the smaller piece, first let me treat both of these with the embossing buddy. And if you don't have one of these, boy, can it make a difference in your ability to emboss well without any stray powder all over your project. And on some of the darker colors, you can see some of the powder a little bit, and I found that if you take a very lightly damped piece of baby wipe or a little piece of paper towel, that just cleans right up. So there's that. Now I'm going to take my Versamark ink, and I have mounted up all 3 of my stamps, and this one I think I'm going to do first. Get my sentiment nice and marked up. Use the grid lines to help me get this straight. Now, if you're not real confident on being able to get your stamped image in the middle on something, in fact, I didn't do a very good job of that, so now I'll have to do it on the back side. Really, you can do this on a much larger piece of paper, and then once you've stamped your image and embossed it, then cut it out with your die. And I think that's, until you get real confident in your stamping, that's probably the way to go. There, that's much better. Okay, so now I'm going to take my gold embossing powder here, and let's see. Take my tweezers to hold the end of that. Cover it with the embossing powder. Okay. And I have learned that my eye is fooled, so I'm going to brush as though I see powder even though I don't. I think I did a pretty good job of using the embossing buddy on that, but it certainly doesn't hurt. Let me just... And if you watched some of my other videos, I have put my Stampin' Up heat tool away so well I can't find it at the moment, and I still can't find it. So let me just move the Versamark out of the way here, and I'll use my tweezers to hold this down. And so a little noisy here for a second. And you'll notice on this one it buckled a little bit. If you also use your heat tool on the back side, what it does is it takes that little indentation out of the paper and straightens it out a little bit. In fact, probably should be embossing on the back side of the paper anyway. So here we go. Back with the Versamark. I'm finished with that stamp now. And I'm going to put this star right up here in the corner. And let that sit for just a second. There we go, nice image. Then we're going to take this much larger swirl of stars. I'll ink that up. It's much easier to take the ink pad to the stamp when it's large than the other way around. Okay, now on here, and because this is a photopolymer, I probably should have used it on the star as well. I'm going to, because this is such a big image, use my Pierce mat here to make sure I get a good stamped image. And there we go. Get plenty of those stars on here. And there we go. All right. So now I will put this in the embossing powder. Make sure I've got good coverage. And wipe any stray powder away. That looks pretty good. So I will emboss this piece. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I think they both do. All right, so let me get some of these things out of the way. And really all we have to do is put these pieces on their backings and this card is done. So I'm just going to use a little bit of snail on the back of this square here and center it on this gold piece. These layering dies, make sure you get an absolutely perfect cut every time. And they're just about as reliable. I don't know about you, but sometimes I cut with my trimmer and I don't know what I do, but it's not quite square. So using the dies can kind of take care of that. Now this has the slimmest little border around the edge. And there we go. Now we just need a few dimensionals here. Now it is getting these two pieces right where I want them on here. And what I'm doing is I'm letting some of these points and some of that vanilla show at the top and then just kind of centering this from side to side and getting a little bit of a peek at that detail on the top. I think that looks pretty good. Then this piece I want to center sort of top to bottom, side to side underneath the square. And that looks pretty good for me. And that is the project for today. So we have the Eastern Star combined with the Star of Light stamp set, and I think it's just a gorgeous card. And very special looking, very elegant looking, I think. And you could add an embellishment if you wanted to the star, but I don't think it needs it. I think it's just gorgeous just the way it is. And then it's got the decoration on the inside as well. So that's it for the day. And you can purchase the Eastern Star paper and certainly the Starlight stamp set carried over to the new catalog. And I hope you've had a chance to look at the new catalog. If you've purchased anything from me in the last year, I had a catalog mailed to you, so hopefully you've gotten your copy and are just enjoying going through and marking those things that are your favorites that you have on your wish list for going forward. And you can get anything that you've seen here today right on my Stampin' Up site, www.lbettinger.stampinup.net. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. Always, there's details below on how to join my team and my telephone number. Give me a call and we can talk about you doing that. In any case, I'll be back soon with more product. Oh, I did want to say that the winner of the Delightful Daisy bundle for last month is Mary Chandler. Congratulations, Mary. And the prize draw for this month is a set of ink pads on the new In colors: Tranquil Tide, the Fresh Fig, the Lemon Lime Twist, the Powder Pink, and what's the fifth one? Powder Pink, Lemon Lime Twist, Tranquil Tide, Fresh Fig. Anyway, there's 5 of them. And so it will be a complete set of the ink pads for the new In colors. It's a $27.50 value in the catalog. So until next time, bye.